On the day he was chosen to rule the nation, the woman he loved betrayed him and ordered his death. Ethan inhaled the sweet scent of the bouquet as he walked down the hotel hallway. On any other day, flowers like these would have been far beyond the reach of a mere foot soldier. But today was different. Everything felt unreal, lighter, hopeful. That morning, an encrypted message had arrived. "Young master, the almighty general passed away at dawn. You are the only surviving member of the Ellington family. You have been summoned to assume his position and stabilize the nation's military." The words had burned themselves into his mind. With every step toward the hotel room, his chest tightened, not from fear, but anticipation. His thoughts drifted back to when he was 10 years old, back to the man who ruled Beaufort from the shadows, his father, the almighty general, a name that commanded fear in the government, obedience in the business world, and silence in the underworld. A man spoken of like a living legend. "You'll understand the world better in the military," his father had said calmly. "And if you survive, you'll be unstoppable." That was all. No hugs, no explanations, just a hand on his shoulder before he was dragged out of the Ellington mansion, away from comfort and privilege, and thrown into Camp Lava, the most brutal training camp in Beaufort. Ethan had cried until his voice gave out, but he survived. He endured. He learned how to bleed without screaming, and he grew, hiding his identity, living as nothing more than an ordinary foot soldier. Then he met Rowena. She didn't care that he had no money, no status, no future worth bragging about. She loved him, or so he believed. Today was their 2nd anniversary, and today he was finally going to tell her everything. His father was dead. He was no longer a nobody. By nightfall he would be crowned the next almighty general. He was going to give her the life he had always dreamed of giving her. Smiling, Ethan swiped the keycard and pushed the door open. The click of the lock echoed loudly in the silence. Then, his world shattered. Rowena stood in the center of the room, half-dressed. She wasn't alone. Captain Connor, Ethan's superior officer, stood beside her, buttoning his shirt slowly, casually, as if Ethan were the one intruding. Ethan froze. Rowena," Connor scoffed. "You look ridiculous." Rowena turned toward him, her expression twisted, not with guilt, but irritation. "What are you doing here?" The sound of her voice tore straight through him. "What am I doing here?" Ethan whispered. "Rowena, don't you owe me an explanation?" "Explain what?" she said flatly. "Didn't you say you had a surprise planned?" "Well, I have one too." Ethan stared at her, disbelief choking him. "Your surprise is sleeping with another man," he said hoarsely. "In the hotel I booked. On our anniversary?" Rowena laughed, cold, sharp, cruel. "After everything I've done for you," Ethan began, his hand trembling as the bouquet slipped. "Done?" she snapped. "What have you ever done for me? You're just a foot soldier, a nobody, no money, no power. Did you seriously think I'd waste my life with you?" Every word hit harder than any beating he had taken at Camp Lava, because tonight, just tonight, he had planned to tell her who he really was. He had planned to give her the world. Instead, she was tearing it apart. "You have no idea what I am now," Ethan said quietly. "Oh?" Connor mocked. "Tell us, Ellington. We're dying of curiosity. On any other day, Ethan would have saluted him, but not today. Not after the message, not after reclaiming his throne." Rage surged through him. He stepped forward, fist clenched, ready to wipe that smug grin off Connor's face. Rowena shoved him back. "Don't you dare," she hissed. "You'll regret this," Ethan said, his voice shaking. "Regret what?" she sneered. "Choosing someone better?" She walked back to Connor. He wrapped an arm around her waist and kissed her forehead. Possessive. Claiming. Something inside Ethan collapsed. "I know Connor will soon be promoted," Rowena continued smugly. "He'll be worthy to sit at the same table as the almighty general. Something you could never become." Her smile sharpened. "And I'll be his wife." She slipped the ring off her finger and tossed it at Ethan. It struck his chest and fell to the floor. "Get out," she said coldly. "You're a stain in my life." The room spun. Their laughter closed in on him like suffocation. Slowly, Ethan lifted his head. "The two of you," he said calmly. They stopped laughing. "I'll make your lives so miserable that you'll beg for death," he said softly. "But it won't come." For one brief moment, the air shifted. Then Connor laughed. "Not so fast, soldier. This is just the beginning of your surprise." Ethan turned back. "You have no idea who you're provoking." Connor clapped twice. From the shadows, two massive men stepped forward, silent, masked, monstrous. Ethan barely had time to breathe before a black bag was slammed over his head. He hit the floor hard. Darkness swallowed him whole. The last thing he heard was Rowena laughing, cold, heartless, triumphant, in stark contrast to Ethan's nightmare. Celebration filled a college campus elsewhere in the city. Laughter, music, applause. But for one person in that crowd, joy was about to turn into humiliation. And now, the vice-chancellor's voice boomed through the microphone. The award for best graduating student with the most outstanding final year project goes to Anita Sterling. Thunderous applause erupted. Anita, the campus belle, rose from her seat, a radiant smile fixed on her face as she made her way toward the podium. "Go, Anita, you're the best," someone cheered, but no voice rang louder than Leo King's. "Go, Anita," he shouted, clapping harder than anyone. To the rest of the campus, Leo was invisible, a bespectacled nerd most people dismissed without a second glance. But in secret, he was Anita Sterling's boyfriend, and more than that, he was the reason she had passed nearly every course. Leo had fallen for Anita back in sophomore year, when she discovered his feelings during one of the darkest periods of his life. She had surprised him by agreeing to date him. He never understood why someone so admired would choose someone like him, but he believed her. She said she loved him. She only asked for one thing. Their relationship had to remain a secret. It bothered him, but he agreed. He told himself love was patient, and she had promised him something in return. "If you help me deliver the best final year project," she'd said softly one night on a bridge overlooking Bulford City, "I'll tell everyone you're the man behind my success." Leo had believed her. That night, he didn't sleep. He stayed awake drafting a masterpiece, an idea so advanced it eclipsed his own work, an idea that could change lives. And today was the day Anita would finally acknowledge him. She accepted the microphone, her voice smooth and confident. "Thank you to the school management for recognizing my talent," she said, smiling. "And I want to thank someone very special, the person who stood by me through every hardship." Leo's heart raced. He adjusted his glasses and waved excitedly. "She's talking about me," he whispered. Nearby students frowned at him, annoyed by his sudden boldness. "My beloved," Anita continued, her eyes scanning the crowd. Then they landed on someone else. Leo's smile faltered. "She's not looking at me," he muttered. "Liam Anderson," Anita announced brightly. "I love you, babe." The words hit Leo like a sledgehammer. The hall erupted. Cheers, whistles, applause. Wow, the campus power couple. Anita Sterling and the heir to Anderson Corporation. Perfect match. Liam Anderson stepped onto the stage, blonde hair gleaming under the lights, arrogance written into his grin. The golden boy. The man everyone admired. He wrapped an arm around Anita, pulling her close, and in that moment, Leo understood everything. He had been used. Tears streamed down his face unnoticed amid flashing cameras and excited chatter. He stood abruptly, nearly stumbling as another wave of pain hit him. "Watch it, loser," someone snapped as Leo pushed past them and fled the hall. Outside, the night air felt cold and empty. He wasn't just losing Anita. He was losing his future. That project, his project, had been worth billions. A bioenergy company had already approached him weeks ago. "Mr. Kings, we're extremely interested in your idea. Name your price." But he had chosen Anita because her happiness mattered more than his life. Now it was all gone. Leo ran blindly down a quiet path near campus, chest aching, vision blurred by tears. Then, headlights. A car sped past him, missing him by inches. "Hey!" Leo shouted as he stumbled aside. The vehicle stopped further down the road. Two men stepped out. They opened the back of the van, dragged someone, out, and dumped the body onto the road like trash. Then they drove off. Leo's blood ran cold. "What the hell?" he whispered, forcing himself forward. The night was dark. His hands shook as he pulled out his phone and turned on the flashlight. The beam landed on a bloodied face, military uniform, torn, soaked red. "Oh my God." Leo gasped. His phone nearly slipped from his grip. "Please, save me." The man lying on the road looked half dead. His face was swollen beyond recognition, blood caked into his skin. His military uniform was torn, soaked dark. Leo's heart slammed against his ribs. "Who are you?" he asked shakily, glancing around in panic. "Why would they do this to you?" His first instinct was to run. If this man died, Leo would become a witness, and witnesses never ended well. Just take out my phone," the man whispered, his voice barely audible. With each passing second, his breathing grew weaker. "What?" Leo swallowed hard. I'll call an ambulance. Just hold on." He pulled out his phone and started dialing. Suddenly, a bloodied hand shot up and grabbed his wrist. Leo gasped, eyes wide. The man shouldn't have had any strength left. Don't, the man rasped. Don't call a hospital. My phone has an emergency number. His grip loosened, and then he went still. Mister. Leo shook him, panic surging. No response. Oh, God. Damn it, Leo muttered. I should just call an ambulance. He hesitated. The uniform caught his eye again. It was the military. This wasn't an ordinary assault, and if it involved the military, then getting involved might ruin him completely. Why is the universe doing this to me? Leo whispered hoarsely. Cursing under his breath, he searched the man's pockets until he found the phone. Hands trembling, he dialed the first emergency contact. The Ellington estate rose from the earth like a fortress carved from iron and stone. High walls, guarded towers, absolute authority. This wasn't a mansion. It was the stronghold of the almighty general. Inside the inner chambers, Ethan lay motionless on a massive bed. Thick white bandages wrapped his upper body, faint traces of dried blood visible beneath the gauze. He had been unconscious for 2 weeks, yet even in stillness, his presence dominated the room. A man in full military uniform stood rigidly beside the bed, eyes fixed on Ethan as though afraid to blink. Across from him, a young doctor finished checking Ethan's vitals, her expression tense. She stepped back, and Ethan's fingers twitched. Then his eyes snapped open. Both of them froze. He had woken too soon, far too soon. The officer reacted instantly, snapping to attention and saluting. General, welcome back. Ethan wasn't surprised. He knew where he was. This was his father's estate, his home, and with his mother gone, the title now belonged to him alone. He exhaled slowly and pushed himself upright. General! The officer rushed forward. How do you feel? Are you in pain? Ethan's lips curved into a faint, cold smile. Yes, he said calmly. Much better. Then his eyes darkened. My ex-wife and her idiotic lover nearly succeeded, he said evenly. If not for the boy who found me. His fingers tightened against the bedsheet. They were careless. They missed the critical spot. His gaze sharpened. Since they failed to kill me, I'll make sure they don't survive. Just give the order, General, the officer said quickly. We'll drag them through the streets of Beaufort and humiliate them beyond recovery. Sir, the doctor cut in sharply, alarmed. You survived by luck. Moving this soon is extremely dangerous. Ethan let out a quiet chuckle. Luck? His eyes gleamed coldly. Don't worry, I won't die. Not until I settle my debts. He turned to the officer and studied the name tag. You're Xavier. Xavier stiffened. Yes, General. At your command. Ethan nodded once. What about the boy who saved me? Xavier hesitated. When our men arrived, they mistook him for your attacker. He's currently detained, in the dungeon. Ethan's expression hardened instantly. What? He sat up straighter, ignoring the pain. Bring him here. Now. Yes, General, Xavier replied and left immediately. When the doors opened again, 2 soldiers escorted a young man inside. Leo looked exhausted, bruised. His wrists were red from restraints, his clothes rumpled. The moment he saw Ethan sitting upright, relief flooded his face. You're alive, Leo blurted out. Thank God. They thought I attacked you, but I tried to help, I swear. Watch your tone, Xavier snapped. You're speaking to the general. Leo froze. General. Xavier spoke coldly. You stand before Ethan Ellington, the son of the almighty general, ruler of Beaufort. Leo's eyes widened in disbelief. What? Ethan raised a hand. That's enough, Xavier. He looked at Leo, his expression softening slightly. What's your name? Leo swallowed hard. Leo Kings. Ethan nodded. Leo, their eyes met. You are officially recognized as my savior, Ethan said calmly. If not for you, I'd be dead. Leo stood frozen, unable to breathe. Because of that, Ethan continued, you may ask me for anything. The room went silent. Whatever you want, Ethan said evenly. I will grant it. He leaned back slightly, his gaze unwavering. So tell me, Leo, what is your request? Leo hesitated. Standing before Ethan Ellington, the most powerful man in Beaufort, the weight of the offer pressed down on his chest. Asking for anything felt absurd. Who was he to make demands of a man like this? But then a face surfaced in his mind. Anita. The betrayal burned fresh, the way she had smiled while tearing his life apart. The sleepless nights, the years of work, his projects, his dreams, taken without hesitation. And now she was about to sign the deal that should have changed his life. His fists clenched. He couldn't swallow it anymore. I do have a problem, Leo said finally, his voice unsteady. I loved my girlfriend sincerely, but she betrayed me. He swallowed hard. She took my lifelong project, and now she's about to sign a deal that was meant for me, a deal that would have changed everything. His head lowered. I don't know what to do. Ethan listened in silence. Then he chuckled, low, bitter, familiar. I've been through something similar, Ethan said calmly. Only mine was worse. Leo looked up. At least your ex didn't try to kill you, Ethan added, his eyes darkening. You're lucky. Leo let out a nervous laugh. Thank you, sir. Ethan waved a hand. Drop the formality. Call me Ethan. Leo froze. Call him Ethan. The almighty general, the man whose name could silence an entire city. Okay, Leo stammered. Ethan smiled faintly. Good. From now on, we're brothers. Whatever troubles you troubles me. Leo stared, speechless. Ethan's eyes gleamed. Let's go teach your ex-girlfriend a lesson. A pause, and her boyfriend too. Leo nodded slowly, a smile forming for the first time that night. On the D-Day of graduation, a grand hall glittered beneath crystal chandeliers. Velvet drapes framed polished marble floors. This was the company's annual elite event, reserved for visionaries, investors, and future industry giants. At the center stood Anita Sterling, elegant, radiant, confident. Beside her, Liam Anderson clapped proudly, basking in the attention, so jealous of her, a handsome boyfriend in a billion-dollar deal. She really made it. Anita smiled, soaking it all in. The chairman stepped onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, he announced, please welcome the brilliant mind behind our most revolutionary project, Miss Anita Sterling. Thunderous applause erupted. Anita rose gracefully, heels clicking as she walked toward the stage, toward the moment she believed would define her future. Then, bang! The massive doors burst open. The applause died instantly. Every head turned. Two men stood at the entrance. One radiated calm, lethal authority despite the faint pallor on his face. The other stood half a step behind him. Ethan Ellington and Leo. The air froze. Anita's smile stiffened. Her life-changing moment stopped. Who were about to hand a contract to the wrong person. Ethan's voice echoed through the hall. Murmurs rippled. Executives, investors, board members, all turned toward the stranger. No one recognized him. The new almighty general had not yet been announced. To the world, the Ellington heir was either dead or irrelevant, but power did not wait for ceremonies. Ethan stepped forward calmly. Leo followed. When they reached the podium, Anita snapped. Leo, she hissed. How dare you come here? How dare you ruin my moment? Leo laughed coldly. Your moment, he said. Anita, this was never yours. That project, this day, was supposed to be mine. Whispers spread. Anita panicked. He's lying, she shouted. He's just a bitter ex-boyfriend who can't stand my success. Liam pushed through the crowd, wrapping an arm around her. He's been harassing my girlfriend, Liam said loudly. He's jealous. The chairman frowned. Leo's throat tightened. He had no documents, no proof. Instinctively, he turned to Ethan. Ethan stepped forward. Chairman, he said calmly, everything this woman has said is false. If you wish to protect your company, you'd be wise to hand that contract to its rightful owner. Anita spun on him. And who the hell are you to make such demands? Ethan's eyes hardened. I'm someone powerful enough to crush you if I wished. The temperature dropped. Liam scoffed. You talk big. Do you know who my family is? One phone call and you're finished. Ethan smiled faintly. Oh, I'd love to see you try. What's your name? Liam sneered. Or are you scared? Ethan answered evenly. Ethan Ellington. The hall erupted. Ellington? As in that Ellington? No way. Liam staggered back. That's impossible. The general's son died years ago. He's a fraud. Anita clutched him desperately. Yes, he's a fraud. Leo paid him to pretend. Ethan chuckled softly. Oh, is that so? He turned to the chairman. Did you receive the memo from the almighty general this morning? The chairman blinked. No, His secretary rushed in, pale. Sir, a direct order just arrived, from the almighty general's office. The hall exploded with murmurs. The chairman opened the memo, his face drained of color. Suddenly, he dropped to his knees in front of Leo. I beg your forgiveness, he stammered. Please forgive me. Gasps filled the hall. I'll hand the contract to you immediately, he cried. Anita screamed. What is happening? The chairman rose and slapped her hard. Silence. She froze. The order states, he said, trembling, that if Leo does not receive his rightful contract today, my entire family will be wiped out. Terror seized the room. The almighty general had intervened. Anita collapsed. Liam went pale. Ethan stepped closer, his gaze icy. Now, he said softly, tell me, who's laughing last? Anita and Liam trembled. Everyone understood then. Ethan Ellington was no ordinary man, and they had crossed a line they would never recover from. In the aftermath of that single event, the city of Bulford trembled. Because of Ethan Ellington's quiet command, Anita Sterling was completely blacklisted. No company, large or small, was willing to employ her. Doors that once opened eagerly now slammed shut in her face. As for Liam Anderson, his fall was far more brutal. Every business connected to the Anderson family was severed overnight. Stocks collapsed, partners withdrew, banks froze accounts. By dawn, a once mighty family had been reduced to ruins. That was the authority Ethan Ellington wielded. Silent, absolute, irreversible. A few days later, the city buzzed again, this time with celebration. A grand wedding ceremony was underway. Rowena stood at the altar, dressed in white, her hand clasped tightly in that of Connor, her lover, now her groom. Connor was no ordinary man. He was a high-ranking military marshal, and his status drew powerful figures to the ceremony. Senior officers, commanders, influential families. The atmosphere was solemn, proud. Just as the officiant raised his voice, bang, the massive doors burst open. The sound echoed through the hall. Every head turned. A lone man stood at the entrance. Ethan Ellington. Rowena's face drained of all color. That bastard, she whispered in horror. He's alive. Connor's pupils shrank. They had been certain Ethan was dead. Whispers erupted. Who is that? Does he have a death wish? How dare someone disrupt this ceremony? Ethan walked forward calmly, his steps unhurried. He stopped before the altar and smiled faintly. What's with that look, sweetheart? He asked casually. Did you truly think I was dead? Rowena panicked. She couldn't let the truth surface, not here. You, she screamed suddenly. How dare you barge in here? Get out at once. Ethan tilted his head. How could I? He replied coolly. When my wife is about to marry another man. Connor stepped forward, rage twisting his face. Bullshit, he spat. Rowena dumped you because you were worthless, and now you dare come here to ruin our wedding? He sneered. You've dug your own grave. The almighty general himself will arrive any moment. When he does, you won't even have the chance to beg. Ethan chuckled softly. It was obvious. They still didn't know. The almighty general, Ethan repeated calmly. So he's coming to bless your wedding? Connor scoffed. Of course. I personally sent an invitation to the Ellington estate. A lowly foot soldier like you wouldn't understand what it means for the highest authority in Bulford to attend an event. Ethan smirked. You sound close to him. Then his voice dropped, sharp as steel. Well then, allow me to inform you. Your almighty general is standing right in front of you. The hall erupted. What did he just say? How dare he? Ridiculous. At that moment, a senior officer rose from his seat, Connor's godfather, a powerful commander with graying hair and years of authority. He strode forward furiously. You foolish soldier, the commander barked. How dare you impersonate the almighty general? He turned sharply. Security! Remove this man immediately. The guards moved in before they could touch him. Ethan reached into his coat. He raised his hand. Resting in his palm was a black and gold seal, engraved with a coiled dragon. The moment the commander saw it, his face turned deathly pale. His knees buckled. He collapsed to the floor. Oh my God, he whispered, trembling violently. That is the seal of the almighty general. The hall exploded. The seal, that's real. Does that mean? All eyes snapped to Ethan. Someone whispered in terror. Does that mean he is the general? Ethan Ellington, the lost dragon. He stepped forward, his gaze sweeping across the room. Hear me, he said calmly, his voice carrying absolute authority. By my power as the almighty general, I sentence Rowena and Connor to death for conspiring to assassinate me. The words fell like a guillotine. The hall froze. Rowena collapsed screaming. Connor staggered back in terror. In that moment, everyone understood. They had just witnessed the rise of an underdog and the awakening of a dragon. This was Ethan's revenge. If you want more underdogs who rise from nothing and take everything back, subscribe to Underdog Revenge Stories.